Thank you.
All right. I'm chopped liver, obviously, because Jill got an applause and I didn't. It's fine. I'll go cry backstage. Thanks.
She'll be overthinking
Thanks,
that for a while.
Tyler. Anyways, guys, we love you. We want to welcome you. But obviously, we're here because we have some important announcements.
We do.
But first and foremost, Jill, I will say the first announcement. Her announcement is super important, so I'm going to say this one that is also super important. We say it every week, guys. Where are my high schoolers at? Woo! Thank you.
Nice.
After hours on Wednesday nights. Show me some love for after hours. Hey, there we go. Thanks, guys.
I like it.
After hours, if you don't know what they are, if you do know what they are, let me remind you, okay? After hours is a team time, is a life group after service, okay? If you're a junior, you are in TSM with Pastor Jordan.
Yeah,
and y'all are having a nacho bar. If you are a sophomore, you're going to be upstairs with Pastor Nick.
Yes.
Doing a pancake bar. And if you are a freshman, you are with yours truly in 4-5. Thank you. And we are doing Mummy Pigs in a Blanket. If you don't know what they are, you have to come to After Hours to figure it out.
And they get us another treat, right?
Yes, but they'll figure that out when they're there. Go, do your announcement.
It's sun-kissed. Anyways.
It's not sun-kissed.
Our next, it is,
disrespectful.
With gummy worms.
It's not
Anyways,
sun-kissed.
it's cute. I like it. It's going to be amazing. So, Cozy Girl Fall. It's amazing. Anyways, where are my J-hires at? That was for high school. Now, where's my J-hires at? Now, we having a special event for Just J-High coming up. Do y'all know what it's called? We've been announcing it. AMP is coming up October 27th. And guys, get signed up for AMP. It's going to be so amazing. And I don't know if you've heard, but your J-High pastors have been doing like this like challenge thing on TikTok, and whoever loses gets pied in the face for like 10 to 15 minutes. And we did a challenge today. I am terrified of this. I am doing my best in the challenges to not lose because getting pied in the face for 15 minutes.
It's amazing.
I don't know. I'm really rooting for Maddie. I feel like just watching Maddie.
I would love to see Maddie get pied in the face.
My
for
bad.
15 minutes. Oh, she's booing us.
No, but we're gonna have an awesome boo. We're gonna have an awesome phobia house Among Us. We're gonna make Among Us for you guys, so like your friend group can like see who the imposter is. You know who your true friends are.
It's true. You're going to figure out who's
canes.
fake.
It's going to be awesome. Please get signed up. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, and another event that we have is also, well, first, let me point something out to them. I need to point something out.
We don't really do this.
Guys, we don't do this often, right? I mean, Jell and I, right, we typically have a guy pastor on stage for the welcome because there's so many of them. They're so great. They're so funny. It's the normal way of doing things. Well, this is not a normal announcement.
It is not.
Because ladies,
wow,
we loved
Here
it
it is,
so
people.
much in March. We didn't want to wait another year. Girls Night In!
They thought
What
it was
are you
worship.
doing?
They thought it was worship. They
Girls
thought it was
Night
worship.
In is November 17th.
They thought it was worship.
Okay,
But just
if anything, pause. If anything, this just proves that none of you listen to the announcements.
That's amazing.
Like
that was
literally
amazing.
zero. Anyways, those of you that actually listen, Girls Night In is.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
It's
kidding.
November 17th. We are so excited for Girls Night In. Junior high, you're there from 7 to 10. High school, you are there from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. There are 2 different registrations. Get signed up now. It's going to be awesome. We're bringing back some fan favorites.
Registration is open now for Girls Night In.
Go to our page.
Hold on.
I don't know what y'all are doing. We have one more announcement.
Hold on.
And the announcement is that we're
promise
actually
we'll
doing
be able to worship. Hold on.
We're actually doing worship in our seats.
Hold on.
Today.
No, we're not.
Yeah, it's crazy. Go to your seats.
That's
Go
funny.
to your seats.
Psych.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hey, our last announcement is that we are starting a new series next Wednesday called Masterpieces.
Woo!
And we're going to have some cool things happening in pre-service on the plaza. Tell them a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a pre-service competition-esque thing for every Wednesday. In the series of Masterpieces, this upcoming Wednesday, so not obviously today, but next week, we're going to do a puzzle competition. It's going to start at 6 o'clock. You're going to have your group of friends from 6 o'clock to 6:20. Y'all are going to try to put together a puzzle. Whoever wins will get prizes. But the most important thing is with Masterpieces, there's themes every week.
Nice. We get to dress up.
Next week's theme is a Bob Ross off. Woo!
You get to dress up as Bob Ross or your PJs.
And those of you that don't love the wear PJs, but you're only going to wear
PJs, Bob
PJs
Ross.
if you're lame and
Follow
you
us
don't
on
wanna...
Instagram, follow us on TikTok. We'll tell you more about it.
Exactly. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you stay in your seats for worship because that's how we're doing it. LOL JK.
LOL JK. Come on.
Sing this, wandering into the night, wanting a place to hide this weary soul, this bag of bones. I try with all my might, but I just can't win the fight. I'm slowly drifting, a vagabond. Just when I ran out the road, I met a man I didn't know, and he told me that I was not alone. Let's go! You pick me up, you turn me around, you place my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because you heal my heart, you changed my name forever. Choice but to believe all my doubts are burning. Yeah, like ashes in the wind. Oh, come on, put it up. So long to my old friends, burden and bitterness. You can't just keep it moving. You ain't welcome here. No, no. So from now till our streets of gold, I'll sing of how you saved my soul. This way was hurt. Oh, oh, you picked me up, you turned me around, you placed my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because you changed my name, forever free. I'm not the same. I thank everybody. Oh, yeah. All right, come on, y'all. This is on you. You ready? Every voice, go. Sing hell out. What? Come on. Sing it out. Hell lost another one. I am free. I am. Come on, louder. Hell lost another one. I am. Hell lost another one. I am. Come on, pick it up, pick it up. Hell lost another one. I am free. Yeah, I am free. Oh, I am free. Hell lost another one. I am free. Yeah, I am free. Yeah, I am free. Hell lost another one. I version. You changed my name, forever free. I thank the Master. I thank everybody. Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey. Come on, lift up a shout of praise if you're thankful for God. Come on, Israeli, let's go. Take this heart and bind it, 'cause all I want, I'm finding. What? Who you are is endless. I'm in this. And I don't want to ever go back to how no, come on. In your presence I'll stay. Alright, lift it up, make some noise. 'Cause all I want and all I need, what? Lord, is you beside me. So I won't stop until I see revival break out. Hey! I won't rest and I won't sleep till the whole world sees it. I won't stop until I see revival break out. Alright. So take this heart and bind it, 'cause all I want, I'm finding. Who you are is endless, God, I'm in this. Oh, and I don't want to ever go your turn. No, in your presence I'll stay. All I want and all I need, Lord, is so I won't stop until I see revival break out. Hey, I won't rest and I won't sleep till the whole world sees it. I won't stop until I see revival break out. Let's go, hands up. I won't stop. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Let's go. I won't stop until I. Come on, pick it up, say. I won't stop. No, 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 hey. I won't stop until I. Let revival break out. 'Cause all I want and all I need, come on. So I won't stop until I see revival break out. Hey. I won't rest and I won't sleep until the whole world sees it. I won't stop until I see revival break out.
Hey, give it up for God one time. Come on. Awesome. Hey, we're going to get into our time of worship, so get in a posture of prayer real quick for me. Hey, sometimes I feel like offering is something that we come up here every time and we just like feel like we have to check off that box to be able to give. But here's my heart on offering. Offering is but an act of worship in your whole life. Should be an offering to Jesus, right? In your time, what you spend your time on. in what you're good at in your sports and whatever it is, but then also your money and the things that we like to hold close. But here's the thing. I want to ask you this question real quick. It's been on my mind for a while. Is God in what you're doing? Is God in your sports teams? Is God in how you treat each other and what you say to one another? Is God in your homes? Because when God really starts to unveil and open your mind and your heart to who he is and shows you everything about himself, your life looks a little different, yeah? You really are open to refining your life and maybe not saying that thing or treating that person that way or gossiping about that friend or whatever that looks like. Because the value of what God did for you is enough. And so a couple ways how we do offering here at TSM is these white boxes in the back. So during this next song, you can give that way. And we also have a TSM Venmo if that's a little easier for you. But here's the cool thing about God, is that because of what he did for you on the cross and how much he loves you, if the answer is no to some of the questions that I just asked you, that God might not be in my homecoming group, God might not be in my sports teams or my home, or because of what he did for you, you have direct access to him to make that right here, right now. So during this next song, I hope that your heart is in a posture of just having pure worship and allowing God to open up your heart and open up your mind to really refine your life, because he's worth it. And what he did for you was enough and valuable enough for you to say, God, I want you to be in everything that I do. So let me bless it. And we'll get back into worship. God, we love you. God, we want to be in a position where we just say yes, Lord, to whatever that looks like, whether it be giving, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, how we treat each other. We just want to say yes, Lord, because your glory and your renown is the desire of our soul. God, I pray that this next song is a time where you just speak and that you just refine our hearts and our mind, that we just shift all of our thinking just to you. Because this is your house, this is your time. And God, we will respond in a way that is honoring and pleasing to you. In your name I pray, amen.
God, I'm giving in to your beckoning. I can sense the call of your spirit. It's a still small voice, but I hear it. Lead me in your ways, breathe upon my faith. There's a place where there are no limits, and you won't relent till I'm in it. And you don't want a surface relationship, you are more than this. Take me on a deep dive, deep on, sing this. Into the unknown, Father, come and show that your spirit's never been hiding. It's the faithful ones you keep finding. And I don't want a surface relationship, I want more than this. Take me on a deep dive into your heart. Show me every detail of it, all that you are. Take me on a deep dive into your heart. Show me every detail of it, all that you are, all that you are, and all that you are, all that you are. Show me what's breaking your heart, even if it messes me up. 'Cause I don't wanna know you in part, I wanna know you really. Don't wanna reach the end of my life knowing there was more I could find. 'Cause I don't wanna know you in part, I wanna know you, really know you. Show me what's breaking your heart, even if it messes me up. 'Cause I don't wanna know you in part, I wanna know you, really know you. Don't wanna reach the end of my life knowing there was more I could find. 'Cause I don't wanna know you in part, I wanna know you, really know you. I wanna know you, really know you. I wanna know you, really know you. I wanna know you, really Take me on a deep dive into your heart. Show me every detail of it, all that you are. Take me on a deep dive into your heart. Show me every detail of it, all that you are, all that you are. All that you are, all that you
Nice job. You can be seated. Welcome to the student ministry. We're so glad that you're here. Sarah, fantastic job carrying out the podium. So good. Most awkward technique ever. Hey, first of all, I'm so glad that you're here. I also want you to know, it's important that we say this every once in a while. I am so honored to get to be your student pastor, but I also want you to know that on Wednesday nights, I hope that you're here because you chose to be here. And I need you to hear my heart. You don't have to be in here. Like, this isn't children's ministry service. This isn't a thing where you get a sticker when you come in and come out. Like, you don't have to be here. You have to be under our supervision, but you don't have to be in here. If you are at a place where you just feel like, hey, you know, I don't know how to sit through a service like this. I'm not sure that I'm really here to connect with God tonight. And you would like to go out into the lobby right now and just be there because that's just kind of where your maturity level is at, you can just go out into the lobby right now. And if I'm being honest, after I got some pictures of some of our bathrooms tonight, and some of you guys, you're just not ready to be here. Like, I love you so much, and I am so honored to get to be your student pastor, but I just know that some of you, you're just not ready to be here. And if you are at a place where you're like, hey, I'd really rather spend the next 30 minutes scrolling through my phone, listening to music, or just goofing off with my friends, man, you are so welcome to head to the lobby, and you can go do that right now. And our pastors will be out there. We can play little games with you if you want. We can get some coloring books out or whatever. Like, I don't know, like whatever it is that you need to do to be able to be entertained. But if you're going to be in here, which is where I want you to be able to be dialed into what God has for you. I believe God has a word prepared for you tonight. And I think a lot of you, you're really ready for that. And I can't wait to share that moment with you. But if you know that's not you and you need to be out there, then by all means, we will have pastors. We've got volunteers, and we are more than welcome to help supervise you out there in the lobby. But if you're going to be in here, you're expected to be dialed in. And if you aren't dialed in, then Maddie or Tanner or Nick, we're just going to come tap you on the shoulder and invite you out to the secondary area, the childcare area, okay? And you can come hang out there, and we'll just be out there. Are we together? Okay, cool. Let's pray. God, we love you. Thank you so much for your word. God, thank you for these students. God, thank you for their maturity. God, there are so many students in this place who I know came into this place carrying a weight. And they look forward to every Wednesday because, God, you lift their load every week. God, I pray that's what would happen tonight, that you would really lift our load through your word. We love you. In your son's name we pray. Amen. All right, so can I try to take you to a different mindset now? What did you come in here tonight carrying? Are you carrying some sort of stress? Something that's got you overwhelmed? Can you just try to process through what that is? Something that has made you just feel like you just have got so much rushing through your mind? Is there something that is stressing you out? Maybe it's just some sort of failure or mistake that you've made in your life. That there's some way that you are stressed out about something that you're trying to get done. There's something in your life. There's a team you're trying to make. There's a person you're trying to impress. And maybe you came in tonight and you just know that somewhere in your heart you're a little overwhelmed. I want you to know that's okay, but maybe it's not yourself. Maybe it's the principle of you're overwhelmed because of something going on with a friend right now. You're overwhelmed because you know that there's a relationship in your life right now at school or with a boyfriend or with a girlfriend or whatever, and there's some sort of friendship in your life right now, and there's just a ton of tension and a ton of drama, and it floods your mind all the time, wondering if you're okay with them, wondering if they still like you, wondering if you're still on the inside of the group, wondering if you're about to be booted from the group message, wondering what that looks like, wondering if your friends are still going to be friends tomorrow, and maybe you brought in some of that overwhelmed principle in here tonight because of a friend group drama. Maybe you're overwhelmed because of something happening in your family. You're overwhelmed because there's someone in your life who you love who's sick. Maybe you're overwhelmed because there's some sort of hurt going on between you and your parents, or you and a sibling, or whatever it may be, an extended relative. And you brought some family nature of just being overwhelmed, stressed out because of something, and it's been consuming a lot of your thought life. You're really worried. You're really broken up about some hardship that's going in your family. Maybe you're not even directly involved in it. Maybe it's between your mom and your dad, or between your parent and one of your siblings, or whatever. But you brought that weight in here. That someone you love is going into it, and you're just overwhelmed. You're carrying something. And maybe that's not why you're overwhelmed at all. It's because of some sort of failure or relationship drama. Maybe it's just because of an expectation that's been set on you. An expectation that you have on yourself to be able to make good grades or to be at this level on your team. And you carry this kind of expectation that you've got to be this, you've got to look a certain way, you've got to achieve a certain level, you've got to get certain grades on your test. And you carry this expectation on yourself all the time that it is overwhelming you to try to live up to the expectations that you have on yourself. That you're trying to meet this goal, you're trying to look this way in front of people. Maybe you're overwhelmed because of a friend's expectations on you. Of that they're constantly asking you to be something that you don't know how to be. Or your boyfriend or girlfriend is asking you to be something that you're not sure that you should be. And you're feeling a little overwhelmed, a little anxious because they're constantly pressuring you, or you're constantly carrying some of the mistakes or things that you think and feel that they thought you should have done that you weren't able to make. Or maybe it's family expectations. Maybe you're just constantly feeling like you can't please a parent. and you're trying to live up to that family expectations of your grades or your character or your athletic abilities of making that team, and you came in here and you're a little overwhelmed, if you're being honest, maybe not right this moment, but you know that if you just think back on the last week that you had some moments and some things that just made you feel overwhelmed. Trying to please a coach, trying to please a teacher, trying to please a pastor, trying to please a friend, and you are knowing that that is something that you're just carrying on your shoulders. First of all, I want you to know that you're not alone. That is something that the world is constantly doing to each of us, trying to take what it thinks we should be and what we should be doing and putting it on your shoulders and allowing you to feel stressed and anxious and getting inside of your own head and getting lost and allowing yourself to allow your steps and your life plan to be determined by what other people are saying you should be doing, and you're feeling that weight. And you're feeling a little overwhelmed, or maybe a lot overwhelmed. I want you to know that in the Bible, there was a really great story of a guy named Moses. And if you remember Moses was the one whom God called to lead the people out of slavery in Egypt and into the promised land. And when they journeyed out from Egypt and God rescued them through the multiple plagues and on what he used to set them free, and of course the Passover where the angel came in and took the life of every firstborn thing in Egypt because Pharaoh had hardened his heart so much, and it was a great miracle, and he spared the lives of the Israelites as they spread the blood of a lamb on the doorpost in their city, and it's a crazy story, right? But Pharaoh finally says, okay, you can go, and the Israelites begin to follow Moses, and they get trapped at the Red Sea, and Pharaoh has changed his mind, and he's chasing them, and they cross the Red Sea because God splits the Red Sea, and they walk across on dry land, and then the sea closes over the Egyptians as they pursue them and try to chase after them through the split Red Sea, and then from there they begin a journey to the promised land, and now there's these tens of thousands of people that are following Moses. And remember, the reason that they were able to leave Egypt was because God worked miracle after miracle after miracle to be able to demonstrate his power not only to the Egyptians but to the Israelites to remember who he was. They were journeying to the promised land because God split the Red Sea and they walked through it. And they're following Moses, but God is the one who's delivering them. God is the one who's leading them, but Moses is the person whom God has appointed as the person whom he is going to work through as their leader. And so therefore the people of Israel were naturally doing the same thing to Moses that your teachers might do to you a lot, or your parents might do to you a lot, or your friends might do to you a lot, or most importantly, more than anyone, what you do to yourself a lot, and you put weight on yourself. And you begin to take it upon yourself that there's all these things that you've got to do. I got to look a certain way. I got to be a certain thing. I got to accomplish certain stuff. And I got to get these things done. Well, Moses can relate because the people were crying out to him because they were in the desert and they were starving. And here's how Moses responded to their response. He went to the Lord and he said this in Numbers chapter 11, verses 14 through 15. He said to God, God, I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me. But if I have found favor in your eyes, O God, and do not let me face my own ruin. Moses was overwhelmed. He says, I can't carry the burden of all these people. I can't do it. I can't give them the food. I can't make them. And God, I think, needed to be able to say to him, Moses, it was never your job to deliver the people. I've put you in a position where you have influence, but it's not your job. Students, you need to hear me on this. It is not your job to please your boyfriend. It is not your job to please your girlfriend. It is not your job to save your friends. It is not your job to fix the relationships in your family. It is your job to simply be obedient to what God tells you to do. He's the one who will do a good work. You don't have to do it. You can take that off your shoulders. Listen to what God's word says in Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. He says this, you ready? This is a really cool passage. If you don't have this highlighted somewhere in your phone Bible or whatever, you should do that. It says this, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Stop carrying the weight of the entire cheer team on your shoulders. Stop carrying the weight of all of your friend drama on your shoulders. You aren't responsible for fixing it. You aren't responsible for having to take care of all of your friends' actions and decisions. You aren't responsible for having to fix everything that's going on in your family or in your team or whatever it may be. You are responsible to simply do one thing. Come to Jesus, give him your burdens, and let him show you what you can do. Whew. Stop letting the world weigh you down. Whatever it is that is weighing you down, whatever it is, mistake that it is that you feel like you've made, whatever guilt or shame it is that the enemy has convinced you that you have to carry, you don't. You are forgiven. You've been set free by God. You don't have to cleanse yourself. You don't have to fix yourself. He's doing the fixing and he's doing the cleansing. You just have to come to him and let him do what he can do. Listen to what it says in John chapter 16, verse 33. He says, I have told you these things to his disciples, so that in me, Jesus said, you may have what? Peace. In this world, you will have troubles. There are going to be things that are going to try to weigh you down. But take heart, he says. I have overcome the world. I am bigger than your problems. You have got to learn to put your trust in me. Doesn't it seem like, for those of you who are seniors in the room, that it feels like all of a sudden there's this pressure on you to have a 5-year plan? You got to know what college you're going to. You got to know what kind of major you're going to have. You got to know what you're going to do after college. You got to know whether or not when you want to get married and what's going to be going on and where you're going to live and what school you're going to choose and what kind of your financial plans are going to be. And are you going to get financial aid and go that route, or are you going to get a scholarship? How are you going to do this thing? Are you going to be able to pay for it? Are your parents going to pay for this? How's this going to work? Who's going to pay for you? Are you going to do on-campus living? Are you going to do off-campus living? What's this going to look like? And if you're in high school, right, and you're a freshman, it's like, hey, you got to start making a plan. You got to work on your GPA. You got to have a 5-year plan because you're not going to get into the college if you don't want to get into, if you don't start getting into the grades right now. And if you fail even in one semester, you get this, or if you get a referral, it's going to go onto your permanent record. Everyone's going to see it. Every principal, every dean of admissions is going to get to see whether or not you're going to get into that school. It matters. You got to have a plan. And if you're in junior high, right, then all of a sudden your parents are like, hey, you're almost in high school. You got to have a plan. You need to start getting your life together. You need to start taking responsibility. You need to start figuring these things out. How are you ever going to get a job? How are you ever going to get married if you don't start learning how to take responsibility for these things? And all of a sudden it's like there's this pressure on you to have a plan. And everyone is telling you younger and younger and younger, you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You got to know where you're going. You got to know what you're doing. How are you going to make the top baseball team? How are you going to make varsity? How are you going to be at this level? If you don't do these things, you got to get in the gym. You got to have these workouts. You got to not only go to workouts, but you got to do the workout after the workout with the people who are professional workout people, right? Because just doing the school workout's not enough. You got to do the after workout with those people, and then you probably should run on your own and get up early and do the other workout, right? And if you get hurt, you should go to physical therapy and add in a 4th workout, right? Oh my gosh. Some of you, when it talks about your sport, I mean, you guys are so committed to being at the top of your sport that all you do is your sport. Each of you are committed to like only being able to do one thing when you get to high school. You're like, I don't know, early on, you're like, when you were a kid, you were a dreamer, right? You're like, I want to be an astronaut. You were no way you were going to be an astronaut, but you just had a dream, right? No one held you accountable to that. No one was like, okay, well, if you're going to be an astronaut, my God, we got to start working on your breathing right now. We're going to hold you under the bathtub. We're going to see how long you can breathe, because when you get into space, there's no oxygen. Right? Like, you had time to be able to have those dreams. And slowly but surely, it's like, man, you're feeling all this pressure. And it's like, can we take time to think about how ridiculous that is? And really, I mean, like, how young is too ridiculous? Have you ever thought about that? I'll be honest. I'm not sure there is too young to be ridiculous. You should have a plan. And if you don't believe me how important it is to have a plan, just check this out. I mean, Jordan's been doing great work with his kids, making sure that they have a plan. Just check this out. Oh, wow, look at Sarah. Here she comes. Way to go, Sarah.
All right, boys, take a seat. This is serious business. Take a seat, come on. No, that's my chair. Not off to a good start. All right, Come on, have a seat. Hey, eyes here. Hey, sharpen up. There's not enough time, okay? Listen. We got to talk about, hey, quit zoning out. College is in your future. And I'm not having one of you guys living, hey, listen. Hey, 5 years. Rowan, where do you see yourself 5 years down the road? Where? Where?
I see dinosaurs going down to the road.
You see the dinosaurs going down. It's paleontology. You want a future in paleontology? You understand how good your grades have to be if you want to go into paleontology. Look at me. Hey, we got it. You go into science camp, okay? Tomorrow you start science camp, and I'll pick you up in 2 years, okay? You're going to be a prodigy. Now you, 5 years, where are we going to be?
What is it? What? And you want to go to the space.
You want me to go to space. So we're going to become astronauts, okay? In 5 years, you'd be the youngest astronaut of all time except that one dog. I don't even think they brought him back, okay? Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to do that? You want to go to the moon? That's a good goal. Let's start doing this. You understand? Hey, look at me. Physics. Do you know what the speed of acceleration or whatever that is? I wasn't really paying. Hey, 9.8. That's what I remember. Remember that for the rest of your days. 9.8. That's something, okay? Hey, okay, you guys are going to do really good, okay? Hey, physics camp or whatever we're sending you to, dinosaur camp, you're going to love that. I will see you when you're 5 years old. It's going to be awesome. I love you very much. Your mom and I very do. And Lincoln, hey, astronaut boy, we're going to the moon. Give me some. Love you. Hey, let's give these guys a round of applause.
These guys were made for the stage, let's be honest. It's crazy, right? You see how Jordan was like, he was almost like trying to put weight on them, but because they're just kids at heart, they're like, what? I want to go to the moon. Can I challenge you with something? Don't lose that. Don't lose the ability that when the world says, you got to be doing this, you got to figure this out. People are like, I don't know, my dad's got it under control. You know, like Jordan is keeping it on it, but because they're so young, they have such a youthful innocence that says, I don't have to worry about these. I just do what mom and dad tell me to. You see, that's where real rest comes from. You don't need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were never meant to. And when you try to, you're going to be disappointed. You need to take rest. You need to be able to take a deep breath. And you need to just be able to come to Jesus, give all of your burdens to him, and then let him show you what it is that you need to do. He says, my burden is easy and my yoke is light. I will show you the direction to do. And we're just going to take one step at a time, one day at a time. You need to take rest. It's hard to do that if you can't remember what God has done for us. Let's go back to the story. You see, so you need to rest, but then you need to remember. It says this, Moses heard the people of every family, this was the story of where it started, wailing at the entrance of their tents. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden on all these people on me? He says, did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised on oath to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, give us meat to eat. These are grown adults screaming and crying out in the desert and pleading with Moses and demanding that he give them meat. And Moses is like, God, what do you want me to do? They're all yelling at me to give me meat. All my friends are telling me that this whole problem is my fault. I'm the center of the problem, God. You got to tell me how I can fix it. I got to fix it, God. My team just lost the big game, and I made a big mistake, and coach was looking at me and saying it was your fault. At least I feel like it's my fault. You may not have said that, but that's how I felt. God, I got to fix it. How do I fix it? I got to fix all these things. And God says, you do realize you aren't even the one who gave yourself athletic ability, right? I made you. I gave it to you and I can take it away. I put you right in the center of where you are for my purpose, not for your purpose. If I gave you athletic ability, it's because I have a plan. You don't have to have a plan. If you're supposed to be on the top team, you'll be on the top team. You need to follow my plan. You want to experience the fulfilled life? You need to come to me and you need to remember that I'm the one who brings fulfilled lives. Look back through history and try to see if any person who took their life into their own hands experienced a fulfilled life. You don't have to bring a full life to you. I came that you might be able to have a full life. Put your hope in me. How do you do that? You have to remember. Listen to what it says in Deuteronomy 8:2. Remember, Moses, how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. And Mark, I'm going through all this drama. Calm down. Just do what God's telling you to do. Mark, you don't understand. I don't have to understand. I know what God's calling you to do. It's simply to just love him and love others. No, I gotta fix it. You'll never be able to fix it. It's all falling apart, my friend. I don't know. You weren't the one who brought those friends into existence, and you certainly can't be the one who's going to keep them together. Just do what God is showing you to do. But Mark and my family, these are the heartaches and the things that are going on. I know, and you can't control it. You can't control the very next breath that you take or the very next breath that you take. You simply get to decide whether or not you will put your trust in God with the next decision you make. That's all you get. And God says, I'm worthy of it. I won't let you down. It says this in Deuteronomy 8:4. He says, don't you remember that your clothes did not wear out and your feet did not swell during these 40 years? Don't you know that I've always had your back and I have your back now if you'll just trust me? In Corinthians, Paul said it this way. He said, we are pressed on every side, but not crushed. We are perplexed or confused, but not in despair. We are persecuted, but not abandoned. We are struck down, but not destroyed. Why? Because God is with you. And if he is for you, then what can be against you? Mark, I'm losing my friend group. God's got a different friend group then. Mark, I lost this in my life. Don't you know that all you ever needed was the Lord? Mark, what if I don't make the team? Then God's got a better team and a better plan. He loves you, and he's got a plan for you. Stop trying to live out your plan. It will never take you to the fulfillment that you were created for. Rest and remember how faithful God has been to bring you to the place that you are. When you look back on your life, has God not been faithful? Have you not had shelter? Have you not had food? Have you not had love? Has he not brought you to this place tonight to show you his love? Remember tonight, students. Come on, you can do it. I'm not just speaking platitudes. I'm asking you to remember. Think back on how faithful God has been. And let it bring you rest. You need to rest. You need to remember. And lastly, you need to rely. Moses said this, or the Lord, said this to Moses. Bring me 70 of Israel's elders who are known to you as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting that they may stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there. And I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. They will share the burden of the people with you so that you will not have to carry it alone. You see, when Moses was overwhelmed, when he was burdened, God said, come to me. And I'll bring friends around you. I will raise up leaders around you who will help carry that burden. But you've got to stop believing that you're the one who can fix it, and you need to rely on me. One last verse. Isaiah 43 says this. But now this is what the Lord says. He who created you, Jacob, he who formed you, Israel. He says this, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. And when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Would you close your eyes with me for just a second? And would you make a decision in your heart tonight what you're going to do? Will you take whatever it is that you brought into this place and will you just give it back to Jesus? Would you lay it at the feet of the cross? And say, I remember the love that you showed me when you gave your life for me on the cross. You came to set me free. And I've allowed myself to be burdened with thinking that I gotta impress my dad. I gotta live up to this religious standard. No, you don't. I've allowed myself to become burdened that I gotta hold my friend group together. I gotta keep this relationship together. No, you don't. Take a deep breath, would you? I gotta fix my family, Mark. No, you don't. You can't. You're not the one who made your family. You're not the one who can keep it together. You're not the one who made your friend group, and you're not the one who can keep it together. Take a deep breath. When my son Micah was being born, on the day he was being born, you can keep your eyes shut. This is for you and the Lord. When my son Micah was being born, we were sitting there and I was so excited. I was so nervous but so excited about being able to become a dad. And we were sitting there and just watching the heart rate monitor and waiting for the final moments for when his delivery was going to come. And all of a sudden, Micah's heart rate just crashed. My sister noticed it first and she said, I don't think that's normal. And she went out and got the nurse, and the nurse came in. Immediately, she threw some scrubs at me and said, get dressed. I'm calling the doctor right now. Micah's heart rate continued to go down, and I was just on my knees just praying, saying, God, please don't take my little boy. God, please do something. The doctor came rushing in. She said, we're going into an emergency C-section. We're going to have to cut your wife's stomach open, and we're going to try to get that baby out as soon as possible. He's losing oxygen. We rushed down the hallway, my wife being pushed on the gurney all the way into the emergency room, into the operating room. And within literally moments, it went from the worst moment of my life to one of the greatest moments of my life when they took that little boy and put him in my hands. And he was just crying and breathing and on the journey of hopefully becoming the man of God that I'm praying that he'll continue to be. You see, God was teaching me something. Mark, you're not in control of your son's life. So don't try to hold on to it. Don't think that you can control it. Just love him. Don't try to overprotect him. Don't try to control his life. Just love him. Teach him, show him, and do the things that I show you to do. I'm the one who's going to be the one who's going to guide Micah into what he's going to be. Mark, you are not the person who's in control of Micah's life. I am. Mark, you're not the person who's in control of your own life. I am. Put your trust in me and your hope in me. Mark, I gave you that son, and I gave him to you as a blessing. I gave you that family that you have, student ministry, as a blessing. I gave you that church, that ministry that you have as a blessing. Don't you know that I am with you and that I am for you? And whatever it is that you're walking through now, it will not destroy you. It will not wash over you. It will not overcome you. You are going to be victorious because you have placed your faith in the victor. He is for you. He is for you. He is for you. He loves you, and you will never walk alone. He loves you so much. You need to give it back to him tonight. Whatever you came carrying tonight, if you keep carrying it, it will destroy your connection with him. And it will destroy the peace that was purchased for you. Let go. And if you have never allowed him to carry the weight of your sin before, tonight is your night. If you've never received Jesus as your Lord and Savior, don't you know that he loves you? And he wants to affirm in you that your ability to be right with him doesn't have to be based upon anything that you do. It's simply by believing that what he did for you on the cross is enough. And if you believe that tonight for the first time, I want you to know this. You are saved. And he will never leave you, and he'll never forsake you. And you will never walk alone again. His heart is for you. He is for you. He is for you. He is for you.
Your heart is for me. Your ear is listening. I'm safe in your love. Your army of angels watch over me. You're always present. You're always with me. For all of my life, your favor has followed. You're my covering. Come on. I've never walked alone. I've never been abandoned. You are my inheritance. You are my strength and shield, and I have confidence. You go before me. You're my deliverer, and I know I'll never walk alone. You're always faithful. You're strong and able. I'm lifting my head. In you I find help. You're my providence. I never walked alone. I've never been alone. You are my inheritance. You are my strength and shield, and I have confidence. You go before me. You're my deliverer, and I know I'll never walk alone. No, I know I'll never walk alone. Come on, students, with all that we have tonight, we declare that out to the God who is with us, who is for us, who loves us more than we could ever think or imagine. We declare it out to him. Come on, sing this. Every hour, every minute, you have always been there. You are faithful, and you always will be. Come on. In every triumph, every failure, you have loyal to me. You are faithful, and you always will be. Let's go. Every hour, every minute.
and he always will be. And he always will be. Would you do me a favor and would you honor the Lord with me tonight? And just whatever it is that you've been carrying into your future, whatever weight it is that you're carrying, would you just give it back to him? If you need to give him football tonight, would you do that and say, God, I give my football future to you. God, I give my baseball future to you. God, I give my health to you. God, I give my family over to you. I'm going to stop trying to fix it, and I'm just going to start trying to honor you. God, I give that boyfriend to you. I don't need a future boyfriend. I just need you, God. I don't need a girlfriend. I just need you, God. I give it to you. I give my future back to you. I give you soccer, God. I give it all back to you. I just want you, and I know that if I give it to you, I'll never walk alone. You are already ahead of me. You're before me. You have plans to give me a hope and a future, to prosper and not to harm me. God, you love me and you are before me. I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. I give it to you. Can you give it back to him tonight? Can you trust him? What is it that you're carrying? Can you let it go? Can you let it go? God, I give you my looks. God, I give you my shape. God, I give you my face. God, I give you my diet. God, I give you my everything. I trust you. I trust you. I will never walk alone. You are already before me. You love me and you've got good for me. Can you give it to him right now in your heart? Do you have that kind of courage to actually say it and mean it? Can you find it? Can you find it? You'll never regret it, I promise. And you will never walk alone. Not a single hour, not a single minute. He is for you and he is with you. Come on, let's let it go. Let's give it back to him.
Hey, come on. Every hour, every minute, you have always been there. You are faithful and you always will be. Come on, let's do this. In every trial, in every failure, you are loyal to me. You are faithful and you always will be. Come on, every hour.
strong, bones break in the blink of an eye. Death and all, nowhere inside. For the Lord, He is alive. See the lost, resurrect from the dead of the night. Every captive freedom. Have you ever seen such a all the world coming alive? Let's go. See the war, light up. See the strongholds breaking, blink of an eye, taking all our sin. Say the fall, His word. Say it again. See the lost return from the dead of the night. Every captive freedom. Have you ever such a beautiful sight? All the world. One, two, three. Everybody say, sing it, all right, y'all better say, it's not time to be silent, don't you? Oh yeah, guess what? So don't let it. Now lift it up. Lift your hands to the. Lift your voice to the sky. And let His name be lifted up.
Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Na na na. Uh-huh. Okay. Hey. Bye, Jay High. We love you. We love you. You're amazing. We love you guys. High schoolers, come on. We got one more. We haven't played this one in a while, but it's potentially the hypest. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Get up out of here. Get up out of here. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Bye. Goodbye. We love you. No. Goodbye. Here we go. Y'all know this one. Trust me. after hours. We love you guys. Go to after hours. Freshmen 4-5. Sophomores go to the edge. Juniors go over to TSM. Get on out of here after hours. Senior cleanup, please. Senior cleanup, please. Senior cleanup, please. Seniors, we're gonna go to Chick-fil-A. We're gonna hang at Chick-fil-A. Get